Nick Wright, first things first, joins us. All right, herd hierarchy. I have Buffalo, KC. I think it's the same thing. I do think the Ken Dorsey firing, they do feel like a little bit more, their offense has a little more dexterity to it. They're not as Josh Allen, save us. I think Buffalo's offense looks like there's more to it. It's more layered. Anything bother you here?
No, nothing really bothers me. A couple observations. One is I agree with you. I was very impressed by Buffalo yesterday afternoon. Thought that was an excellent win. Now, I'm sure none of my colleagues will be impressed by Buffalo because nobody was impressed by the Chiefs beating the 6th seed by 19 points. So I can't imagine anyone is impressed with Buffalo beating the 7th seed by 14 points. But I was impressed by both games. But here's my other takeaway. You remember last week, Colin, how when on here you had the Lions ahead of the Rams, and I just came on and I told your audience, have them wherever you want. I guarantee during the Blazing Five, you're going to take the Rams and the points.
I did.
And you tried to push back, and then eventually you did it. Yeah. You have these rankings however you want. I guarantee come Friday, you are taking Kansas City +3. I'm not saying you're even going to pick them to win, but I want to bet on your bet because you are absolutely you're going to look at me like Patrick Mahomes in his career as an underdog, 8-1-1 against the spread and 7-3 outright. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and grab the points. And so that's what I project is going to happen here.
Yeah, I'm not pushing back on that now that you've put me in a corner.
Yeah, exactly right.
It's hard to bet. It's hard to give Andy Reid and Mahomes points. Listen, I think there are times. I said I can defend every losing coach in the playoffs. Even Mike McCarthy, I can say, well, that was the best Dak I've ever seen, and they won 12 games. What I saw last night was Brandon Staley with the Chargers. Like a team that went from losing close to losing by a touchdown to literally the players are quitting. You can't bring that back in Philadelphia. That's a grown-up job, and at times, you had mentioned this, sidelines, tunnel, theatrics. It was like a kid that got a grown-up job and eventually was exposed. Yeah. I think you have to move off him, don't you?
100%. And there's a lot of reasons. Some you mentioned, some you didn't. First of all, Colin, before I get my full answer, tell me if you agree with me here. I've never seen, in my life watching football, I've never seen a team in the playoffs in the first quarter look as apathetic as Philadelphia
I agree.
did. On both sides of the ball, in my opinion, Colin, in the first quarter of that game, they looked like a team that was a 4-win team playing their final game of the year. That, to me, is a stinging indictment of the coach. So that's first of all. Second of all, here's the other problem for Nick Sirianni. Who is available? And so, I use you in a lot of the analogies when I'm talking to you, so I'll do it again. If there were a talk show host in Philadelphia that last year had done great, and this year was mediocre, a little disappointing, but last year was really excellent. And then all of a sudden, you quit Fox, and you let everyone know, man, I'd sure like to work for WIP. That guy would lose his job even if he didn't deserve to. If Bill Belichick wants the Eagles job, even if the team didn't quit on Sirianni, you fire Sirianni to give Belichick that job. I also don't know what he does. He doesn't call plays. Right. He can't figure out his defensive coaching staff. His quarterback massively regressed this year, and that's the bigger issue for Philadelphia, the how good is Jalen Hurts really question. So, I think Nick Sirianni, I think Mike McCarthy and Nick Sirianni are both going to be looking for work this coming offseason, and I don't think either one of them are going to get head coaching jobs this offseason.
So I said about Baker Mayfield, you got kids, I got kids. Fit and environment for young people is important. And in Cleveland, a lot of pressure. Savior. But in Tampa, Baker Mayfield is viewed as, well, Tom got us a trophy. Let's see what Baker can do. It's like less pressure than Geno Smith in Seattle. It's like, we just got a trophy. Let's try it out. And I'm like, this Baker? Humbled Baker, low expectations? I would re-sign him. I would have no problem with a 3-year.
You got to re-sign him.
That's what I think, right?
You have to re-sign him. So listen, I mean, that's a very nice way. You know, you're on your Baker Mayfield apology tour. I saw the videos. I've seen the tweets. This is a nice soft launch to it. And I hope that part of re-signing, he comes and we can go full circle. He can sit right on that couch like he did 5 years ago, and you and him can have a nice moment because you have, to your credit this year, been rooting for Baker.
Yeah.
Now, where I will say I disagree on the pressure is this point. He had massive pressure in this regard. He was playing for his career. If it didn't go well, Colin, in Tampa, he's a career backup. An undersized, somewhat polarizing career backup, and there's not a lot of backup quarterbacks like that. So he had massive internal pressure, even if there wasn't a ton of external expectations. But when you look at what he did yesterday and what he's done over the course of the season for a team that has more dead cap money than any team in NFL history, $220 million cap, that's what everyone else is working with. Tampa working with $140 because of $80 million in dead cap, and Baker has them a game away from the NFC Championship, and I think they are a live dog in that game. I think you look at a minimum, the contract Geno Smith got and say, yeah, that plus 30%. Geno got 3 for $75. I think the negotiation starts at 3 for $100, which sounds crazy, but that's $35 million a year, which is the going rate for a good, not great starting quarterback, and that's what Baker Mayfield is. And listen, as a lifelong Baker Mayfield supporter and believer, man, I couldn't be happier for him. And I can't imagine how miserable he'll be rooting against that guy. So full of moxie, his teammates love him. He never quits on a play, just the best.
Okay, so I want to know, I know you're going to like the Chiefs. What is the Chiefs-Bills?
You don't know that. I'm going to do straight down the barrel analysis. Everyone's like, Nick, you always pick the Chiefs. The real answer is, Nick, you always pick the correct Super Bowl winner, and that's more often than not the Chiefs. So it seems like I'm always picking my hometown team. I'm just picking the best team. But go ahead, let me hear it. Sorry, I interrupted.
So what is the game going to look like? Because you know they don't really have a number 2 receiver. They have an old tight end. He doesn't trust his tackles. Yep. Rashee Rice is a 1. Not a great 1, but he's a 1. They don't really have a number 2. This offense isn't the same. They can't fall behind 21-0. It's a different variety of it. What does the game look like against Buffalo?
It's low scoring and the Chiefs win, and Josh makes a mistake and Patrick doesn't. So, here's the deal. Everyone would have been over the moon had the Chiefs beaten Miami 35-24. Oh, my goodness gracious, look at that offense. Instead, they win by 19, control every second of the game. Miami has 1 impactful offensive play because of a ball was underthrown, and people are like, oh, what's on after this game? Here's the deal. Kansas City has accepted who they are the last few weeks the starters have played. A team that has a not good, a great defense. Now that Cleveland is gone, the Chiefs have either the best or the second best defense in the playoffs. It's them in Baltimore and then everybody else, and that was the case along with Cleveland all year. This Chiefs team has allowed 30 points once in the last 2 years, and it was in the Super Bowl and they won. And so people are wondering why they're struggling in the red zone. I look at it a little bit differently. I think Patrick is refusing to take any chances in the red zone because he knows with the defense playing the way it is, that field goals will be enough. Take the touchdowns when you can. Don't put the ball at risk. Now, against Buffalo, you might actually have to go score touchdowns. But the last 2 games the starters have played, they've scored points on 13 of 17 drives, had 3 punts and 1 turnover. So they're moving the ball. Rashee Rice has emerged. The defense has been great. The week off really helped Kelsey. And then you have Patrick Mahomes, who has never lost in the wild card or divisional round, who has never lost an AFC playoff game in regulation, and Patrick Mahomes, he's on the road for the first time, but if you look at his numbers historically in the regular season, he's a better road quarterback than home quarterback, and I'm going to add this part to it. When the Chiefs played the Bills the first time, the Chiefs were coming off, or the Bills were coming off a bye, so they had a 1-week rest edge, and the Chiefs were without their 2 starting linebackers. This week, the Chiefs have a 2-day. The Chiefs are the team with the rest edge because they played Saturday, the Bills played Monday, and the Bills are the team dealing with defensive injuries. For all those reasons, listen, I've studied the All-22. I've done the analysis. I like the Chiefs a lot. I think they're in a really good spot. And if you're Buffalo, Colin, if you don't beat Kansas City this year, when are you beating them? You have them at home, a wounded Chiefs team, a vulnerable Chiefs team that nobody believes in but this dope from Kansas City, Nick Wright. If you don't beat them right now, when do you beat them? And the answer is maybe never. So I like the Chiefs in this spot quite a bit.
All right. Minute left. You and I have always said, I've always said Dak is Kirk Cousins with the Jordan brand. Kirk is more accurate. Dak's a better athlete. But I don't trust him in the playoffs. Next year he's a $50-something million cap hit. Where are you on Dak today? Because you have been, from day one, it's not elite. So do you feel validated by what you watched?
Well, maybe if I hadn't picked him to go to the Super Bowl this year and argued throughout the year he might be league MVP. So here's the problem for Dak. This is where sports can be a little unfair. Dak being as great as he was in the regular season actually makes what happened on Sunday more of an indictment. Because, Colin, he looked frightened. Like the look on his face, how big his eyes were. The moment Green Bay went up 7-0, it looked like he got tight.
Yeah.
And there were, in that first half, down 7-0, he throws the pick. Down 14-0, he takes the brutal sack on 3rd and 5 that takes him out of field goal range. Down 20-0 with a chance to be back in it. You're past midfield, it's 2 minutes left, down 20-0, go score there, get the ball at halftime, could be 20-14 next time Green Bay touches the ball. Throws a pick 6. Down 27-0, something nobody seems to care about but me. At the end of the first half, through short of the end zone, the clock was going to run out. They get bailed out by a penalty flag. So I felt like every moment Dak had in that game when the game was in the balance, he didn't come through. And so here's where the Cowboys are in a rough spot. We have seen bad, mediocre, average, above average, great. We've seen every young, old, every type of quarterback win a Super Bowl, except for one type. The decent quarterback who is paid like a superstar.
Yep, that's it.
That team has never won a Super Bowl.
That's right.
And Dak is about to, I don't think people understand the leverage Dak has. He has a no trade, he has a no tag. His cap hit's going to be $60 million for next season, and then he can go wherever he wants. It's going to take, I'm not exaggerating, 5 years, $300 million with $180-some million guaranteed to sign him.
Yeah.
Do you want to sign up for that? I don't know. Can I throw one fake trade at you and tell me who says no?
Sure.
Let's just say Belichick doesn't go to Dallas, okay? So whomever the coach is. If Dallas calls New England, and Dak obviously has to be okay with it, we'll trade you Dak for the number 3 pick. The Cowboys want to take the San Francisco model of reset the quarterback pay structure, a rookie quarterback clock, and keep all that elite talent. And the Patriots say we can afford to pay the quarterback because we don't have any good players, so nobody on our team makes money. Dak for the number 3 pick. Is there any interest from either side? Where do you land on that?
Oh, if I'm Dallas, I'm absolutely interested. If I'm New England, I'm not interested much. Yeah, I mean, I think if I was Dallas in this quarterback class, and I have the number 3 pick, Jaden Daniels, don't have to pay him for 4 years.
Jaden Daniels, re-sign Micah, re-sign CD, keep all your talent.
Oh, yeah.
If you're Dallas, that's super attractive.
Yes.
You hire Mike Vrabel or Jim Harbaugh, do that, get it going. Something.
All right. Well, hey, I'm all for fake trades. For sports radio,
I love
guys.
fake trades. Now, Dak has a no-trade clause, so this is a fake trade that involves a fake negotiation where he waives his very real no-trade clause. So I understand there's a lot of moving parts in this fake trade, but it's worth thinking about. Thanks, Colin.
I played the game. Nick Wright, first things first. Great seeing you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.